And just this week, Congress returning from its 5-week summer vacation, or as they call it, recess. And get this, the House of Representatives was scheduled to recess again for a week beginning September 23rd. But tonight, news that the House has canceled that week recess. Republicans say they need time to work on avoiding a government shutdown. RNC Chair Reince Priebus joined us. Nice to see you, sir.
Hey, Greta. Good evening.
So is your job a little bit harder when they're talking about recess? They just come off a 5-week, talking about another recess now canceled, and we have all this unfinished business like a continuing resolution to fund the government as well as the issue of the debt ceiling, the debt limit mid-October.
Well, I think they're going to get their work done. You know, these calendars, I'm sure you know, get set, far in advance, and they have to be flexible. And these district recesses, which these are in the middle of September, are things that can be moved. And obviously you've reported correctly that Kevin McCarthy, the House Whip, sent out a notice to the members tonight saying, be ready to be here in September to get this work done on the government shutdown, on the Obamacare issue, on a number of things like cutting spending and others. And it obviously doesn't help that the president's floundering around on Syria and going back and forth on his plan. So the work's going to get done, though.
All right. Well, I have a fundamental objection not just on that, but the fact that we have continuing resolutions because they never did the underlying job of the budget. But I'll set that one aside.
Well, you can thank the Democrats for that. Paul Ryan passed about 8 of them.
All right. In terms of if the government gets shut down, the Republicans are going to say the Democrats did it. The Democrats are going to say the Republicans did it. How do you, as chair of the GOP, how do you convince the voters that it's not your party who's responsible?
Well, I mean, you have to be very careful. I mean, obviously you have to make the case to the American people. And all this shutdown stuff is all of just a bunch of bunk. I mean, even on the issues that Ted Cruz and Mike Lee are talking about, they're not talking about shutting the government down. They're talking about funding almost 100% of everything except for a few nuggets in Obamacare that are a complete debacle. And it'll be up to the president as to whether or not he wants to shut the government down. So, I mean, this government shutdown talk is nothing that the Republicans are talking about.
Well, but it all now, we visited this in the 90s, and one party does pay the piper on this. Well, if there is a shutdown. Right,
but in this particular case, I mean, in regard to Obamacare, I mean, this is an issue that's polling, 80% in our favor. Now, no one's advocating shutting the government down, but we are unified in defunding and delaying Obamacare. There's no question about it.
It is a realistic possibility, don't you think, that the government will be shut down since people are very passionate and have very strong views on both sides?
There are no Republicans looking and plotting and planning to shut the government down.
No, and I don't think there are any sort of Democrats plotting. It's just that there's a very deep divide.
I'm sure the Democrats would love the government to get shut down, and they can try to blame it on us. But there's nobody on the Republican side of the aisle that wants to shut the government down. Now, we do want to save this country from Obamacare. We do want to cut spending. We want to get our debt under control. There's a lot of things that we'd like to do, and we're going to work hard to do it. We're the ones that presented budget after budget after budget that cut the 10-year debt window to the Democrats. They're the ones that haven't passed the budget, since Obama's been president.
Let me give a real easy one. This is Washington, D.C., home of the Washington Redskins. They're playing in Lambeau Field this Sunday. Who wins?
Well, I think after last week, the Packers have to win. So I think we're looking good.
All right, looking good. Reince, thank you.
Thanks.